What's going on, chicken friends? It's Donna Little from the Coop Scoop, and we had something happen here the other day that was really intimidating and a little bit scary, and it could have ended really, the timing of how things worked out, it could have ended really, really poorly for my chickens, and it could have ended really poorly for me or Mark had things not happened at the very exact moment that they happened. And I'm going to tell you about that. And that is what really prompted me to think about making this video about predators, because, I think when we think about predators, we think about wild animals. But in this situation, it was a couple of stray dogs. So I'm going to turn the camera around and show you what happened, where it happened, I should say. And it went on for a couple of days. This was last Wednesday. I came out, and if I'm standing right here, I am just kind of coming out from my porch. There's my chicken coop. At night, it's all shut up. We have the door shut. There's a garage door there. Especially in the winter, we'll pull the garage door down. It's locked up tight. When I came out to let them out, I heard dogs barking. There's my gate. And when I got to about here, there were two large dogs standing at the fence. They looked like pit Great Dane mixes. And when they saw me, the level of aggression was through the roof. A lot of times if I do occasionally have a dog come into the yard, if they see me, they usually just bolt away and run. Not these two. So they immediately started trying to come over the fence. And then it occurred to me, my husband was about to leave, and he was going to be coming out this side door over here. That is, if you can see where the deck is right there, that is where he was about to be coming out. And I thought, oh my gosh, if he walks out the door, he's not going to expect to be met by two large dogs that are this kind of aggressive. So I, ran back in the house, and he was indeed about to walk out the door. And I said, don't go out there. There's two really aggressive dogs. And he had a meeting to go to. So he walked out the door and just yelled, get out of here. And in a deep man voice. And they went after him. Trust me, guys, I know how lucky we were that didn't end in a different way, because had I not walked out exactly when I did and even seen them, they could have easily dug under my fence, jumped over the fence, and, who knows what would have happened. Even, either Mark or I could have gotten attacked, even if the chickens weren't involved. So, it really made, anytime anything like that happens and you have a little bit of a close call, it makes you really, really, think about all the things that are the safety measures you've put in effect. And Nellie is standing right here on the poop board where my camera is, probably going to knock it over in a second. But it makes you really reflect on, am I doing everything that I can to keep my chickens as safe as possible? Because trust me, they're on the menu for a lot of different animals, and it's hard to, hi girl, it's hard to keep them 100% safe. But I'm going to tell you guys a few things that, and show you what we've done to our coop, but then tell you a few things if you're especially new to chicken keeping and you haven't built a coop yet, or you haven't already gone and bought one. Some of the things that are going to best keep them as safe as possible. Come on, girl, come up here and tell them about it. She is the nosiest chicken I have. All right. First of all, we were very lucky. When we moved here, this coop was already here. The structure was. We had to do a whole lot of, upgrading and everything, but the floor is cement. Right away, I do not have to worry about anything being able to dig in to the coop. And so because we live in the South and we wanted to be airy and not so hot in there, it has a garage door. When it's warm outside, we leave the garage door open, and we just shut this and lock it. So this is 1/4-inch hardware cloth, and it's put together with 2x4s, and we have it, screwed down into this asphalt. And that side of it is stationary, but when we shut this side, it locks here with this kind of lock, And then we have the kind at the bottom where it just automatically shuts and locks itself. So I don't have to worry about anything in my area being strong enough to pull the door off the hinges or get through the hardware cloth, because we don't have predators that are powerful enough to do that. I have at the very back of the coop, that is a little doggy door that used to go out into a back run that now belongs to our quail, and I have hardware cloth on that now, even though it goes out into a very secure run, and there's plastic over it right now because it is pretty chilly at night here, but I've got hardware cloth on my window also. So those places that a predator might be able to get in, now I know they can't because they are completely secure. I even have hardware cloth, and you can't see it from here, but I have hardware cloth on my vents that are at the top. So this coop is as predator proof as I can possibly make it. So that's what you really have to think about. What are the predators in your area? So what are you protecting your chickens from? Now, if you lived in an area, or if I lived in an area where there were powerful predators, where there were bears or, wolves or even mountain lions or something, I don't know that I would feel safe with just this hardware cloth door, even though we did a great job of constructing it and making it very sturdy. I might be inclined to think a bear could rip it off the hinges. So I would have to take extra measures. And that might mean, having an electric fence around the whole thing or something like that. Hopefully that would do the trick, but I don't have to deal with that. But know what you're up against. So say you live in an area where you're primarily looking at aerial predators, then you're going to want to make sure that if your chickens live in the coop and in the run and you can't let them free range, then you're going to want to make sure that you have a top on there that is either some really good strong netting, or it is the hardware cloth also. And that is going to help keep, obviously, if it's just hawks you're looking at, then, I would think good strong netting would do the trick. I would be a little bit inclined to be concerned about other predators, though, that could climb up to the top and maybe chew through the netting. So I would definitely probably, we actually have a temporary run out here right now that is not as secure as I want it to be. And we're going to build one, though, that is going to be like Fort Knox, because I need my girls to be safe all the time. And when we do that, we're going to have just the 1/4-inch hardware cloth on the whole thing. And that way, I'm going to be able to open, either do another doggy door out to the side, because that's where it's going to be. And that way they can take themselves out in the morning, because as things stand right now with us, I have mine where they're just shut in the coop at night and they can't get out until I come and let them out, which is at daybreak anyway. So nobody's in here being tortured for any length of time. You don't ask them that, though, because they would tell you different. But if you have predators that in your area that are diggers, and that's probably going to be pretty much everywhere, then you're going to want to make sure the bottom of your coop is nice and secure. And I do see people that have coops that are just on the ground. There's no floor to it. It's just the dirt, and anything could dig under there. So if you have that kind of situation, and that is where your coop is, and say you moved somewhere and it was already there and you're like, free structures already here, then I would say your best option is to get some hardware cloth and run it around the entire perimeter of your coop and skirt it out. So just attach it to the side of your coop, front, back, and then let it go out on the ground. And if it goes out on the ground a couple of feet, any predator that comes up is going to try to dig right there at your coop, and they're not going to be able to get under. You can also run it down into the ground for about 1 foot, and that would, be great. That's going to require a little extra labor. If you could put your coop on a cement pad, that would be ideal. If you can put a floor in your coop, that would also be ideal, because anything that tried to dig under is, of course, going to just run into that floor and not be able to get on through. Or if you could even run a perimeter around it of cement, like right where it's going to be sitting. That's going to keep anything from being able to dig in, because if something gets into your coop at night and your girls and guys, I always say girls because I don't have roosters. If your guys are in there, they can't see at night. So they're literally completely defenseless. So you definitely don't want anything to be able to get into your coop. If you have animals that are going to be able to creep in, and that would be maybe a snake or a weasel or a rat, you are going to want to make sure that you have thoroughly gone over the entire outside of your structure to make sure there's not gaps in the wood that are going to be big enough for a predator like that to get in. You're going to want to make sure there's not a hole somewhere, because weasel, like we don't have weasels where I'm at either, thank goodness. But if their skull can fit through, the rest of their body can fit through. Even if it doesn't look like it can, they can squeeze in the tiniest little holes. Even if you have rats where you're at and they're, and you just have chicken wire, they can get through that and they can kill chicks and even probably some small chickens. So you want to be aware of that. If you can't afford hardware cloth, and trust me, it is not cheap, and you don't have a choice but to do chicken wire, if you can double it, that would definitely increase your odds of your chickens being safe. I would definitely say that's not going to keep almost any predator out, but if you double it, it's better than nothing. If your coop is one that is raised up off the ground, definitely get up underneath there and make sure that there's nothing underneath, where there's a hole or a gap or something like that. I know some people have those raised up off the ground and they have a wire bottom to it. If it is chicken wire, that's not going to be very secure. And if it is a coop like that and it's fully enclosed inside your run, then your run is really what you're going to need to concern yourself with as far as safety. So just keep in mind, if you have mostly aerial predators, make sure your run has got some sort of safe top on it, whether that is a good strong netting or, even if it was chicken wire, that would be definitely better than nothing. If you have a coop that, like I said, is like mine, that is just sort of freestanding and the run is to the outside, mine is off to the side of mine, you're going to want to just make sure that either your run is extra secure, or if it's not, in my case, and it's not, then I can shut mine completely in. If you have a little doggy door that you can shut at night, make sure there's a latch on it that has a hook, something that a raccoon couldn't come up and just knock open, because you almost have to do a little bit of problem solving and just think, my neighbor's dogs, I don't know if you can hear that, but they bark like 5,000 times a day. But you have to think about what the predators are in your area and what their skill sets are, so to speak, So if it is digging, make sure your ground is secure. And if it is flying, then they can't get in the top. And if it is something that is going to, get through a little bitty crack or a crevice or something, that you've got all of those. And if you do have that, like if you have slats of wood and there's little cracks between, you could line the outside of your chicken coop with chicken wire, and that would also probably help at least give that little added barrier so that a predator couldn't get in that way. But just think about what your predators are for your area and act accordingly and put those safety measures into place so that your chickens are as safe as they can possibly be. I know if you watch my channel, you know that mine do free range, but I don't allow them to be out free ranging when I'm not home. And I've said it before, I'm not under any delusion that they couldn't get injured. I mean, obviously, I had a near miss the other day, but their happiness, their health, and their safety are the three most important things to me. And being out free ranging every day definitely makes them happy and definitely keeps them healthier. So that's the tips that I have for you guys for today. I hope you enjoy this video and that you're enjoying our content. And if you are, hit that subscribe button and notification bell. Don't want you to miss anything because we've got a lot of things coming up this next year. Have a fantastic day, guys. I'll see you in the next video.